Hi, welcome to another great episode of What's Cooking with Rochelle. And today we're going to make one of my family favorites. It's called Texas Sheet Cake. We're not from Texas. Don't ask me. I don't know why I got that name. But irregardless, it is a great, really light cake, chocolate to boot. And does have nuts. Those are an option. If you don't like nuts or you're allergic to nuts, you could leave those out. So you're going to need a pretty big bowl. You are going to mix this by hand. You could mix it in a mixer, but no need. It's not a huge stressor. So we have 2 cups of all-purpose flour that I'm going to go ahead and dump in here. And then I have 1.5 cups of white sugar. And I'm just going to give this a quick stir. You're combining those 2 things. Okay, we're going to set this over just a little bit. I have 2 sticks of unsalted butter. I'm going to put these on the stove with 1 cup of water, and you're just melting the butter into the water. Okay, so we're going to take these out of here and get those in there. And to that, you're going to add 4 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder. Now, they do make a couple of kinds of unsweetened cocoa powder. This is just the regular, not the dark. They do make a dark. If you want that, you could absolutely use it in this recipe. It'll just make the cake itself look darker. Okay, so we're waiting on that to melt. While that is doing that, I have 1/2 cup of buttermilk here. Now, I never keep buttermilk in my kitchen. I don't know if you do or not, but it's easy to make. You take whole milk and then just a teaspoon or so of white vinegar. And you could tell that it's buttermilk because buttermilk is curdled. Okay? Now, to this, we are going to add 2 whole eggs. So you're going to crack these eggs and put them in there, just like so. Okay. And we're going to beat the eggs into the milk. Doesn't have to be like super, you just want to kind of get it combined. I'm using a fork. I do it in one bowl like this to save space. To this, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And we are using 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. We're going to combine all that together. And we have a little bit of salt that we're going to add here to this flour mixture. Okay. So there are 3 parts to this, right? So we're going to make a little well. This is the liquid part, the flour part, and the other liquid part. And it is almost melted. That's going to take just a second more. Now, we don't want to cook the eggs, so that's why they're separate. You need to make sure that even though this is hot, it gets mixed in with this, and then you whisk the eggs in so that they don't get cooked. Okay. So you can see the butter's all melted with the cocoa powder and 1 cup of water. That's all that's in here. Okay, So we're going to take this and dump a little bit of this, about half of it, into our flour. And just give that a quick stir. Then take half of your egg mixture and dump that in. Look how wonderful that looks now. And stir that in. Okay, then the rest of your liquids. Now you know why I got a big bowl, right? Okay, we're almost there. Add the rest of our eggs and milk mixture. And the mixture of the baking powder with the vinegar is what makes that fluffy and like that, which is what's going to give the rise to our cake. Now the best thing about this cake is that it cooks in less than 15 minutes. So I preheated my oven to 375 degrees, and we're going to just pour this on a full-size baking sheet. Now if you don't have one, that's, you know, totally okay. You could make the cake and it could be thicker. It would just take a little longer to cook, or you could cut the recipe in half, which is totally easy to do because you just have one egg instead of two then. And of course everything else gets cut in half. Now you can see the color. If I would have used the darker cocoa powder, it would have been a lot darker. So before you pour it into your cooking sheet, we do need to spray it with a non-cooking spray, whatever kind you want to use. Okay. And we're simply going to pour this in here. And you want to make sure that it's kind of even in the pan. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. Get more of this goodness in there. Okay. I made some messes. Okay, so you can see how right here it didn't get in the corner. Just give it a good shake. Okay, now we're going to put it in the oven at 375 for about 12 to 15 minutes. Check it. You just want it spongy and cooked in the middle, but not overcooked. All right, so while the cake is cooking in the oven, we need to get the frosting ready. Don't forget this. It has to be ready, so as soon as the cake comes out, we put it on it. So we are going to take a pot, and we're going to put 1 stick of butter in it, and this is unsalted butter. And to this, you're adding 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder again, and 6 tablespoons of milk. Okay, we're going to put this on the stove and get that to melt so that as soon as our cake comes out of the oven, we've got it ready to go. Once that's melted, we are going to be adding in 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2 cups of powdered sugar, and I am using nuts. I'm using pecans today. I've rough chopped these nuts, and this is a little more than ½ cup. But you can use as little or as many as you want. If you love nuts, go crazy. If you're not a nut fan, you can absolutely leave it out completely. Okay, so let's go check our butter. Okay, so you can see the butter's all melted, and we've got our milk and cocoa powder in here. Add our vanilla. Set that aside. Add the powdered sugar. Whisk this in together. Now, if you like it sweeter, you can add more. If you want to use an alternative sugar, you can do that as well. You're just sweetening the cocoa. So you can see no lumps. We just add in our nuts, give it a quick stir, and let's get that cake out of the oven. Alrighty. Okay, so you could see the cake is done, but you see it's not burnt, it's not brown. Well, it is brown, but you know what I mean. Now you want to pour this on the cake while it's hot, so spread it around. And we're going to take our spatula and make sure it gets in all of the corners. Voila! This is Texas sheet cake, guys. It is super simple and easy. It's been a family favorite of mine forever. I have to cut a piece of this and get into this, but you should let it sit for at least 10 minutes to let the icing set up. See you in 10. All right, now I get to do the fun part. I get to eat. I love this because the cake itself is moist and light, and the icing isn't super sweet. If you like it sweeter, add more sugar, but this is amazing. Oh, thanks again for watching What's Cooking with Rochelle. Bye for now.